Hey guys, internet world. I'm here to review Ultimate Avengers issue 2. Okay, I'm really enjoying this. This is really good. It's basically the Ultimates, but getting back to their basics. When Mark Millar and Brian Hitch first started doing the Ultimates, well, the first two series, I personally thought it was really groundbreaking stuff. It was kind of, they had this, they brought out this it was kind of like real world superheroes, which isn't that new an idea, but it really worked with Mark Millar's writing and Brian Hitch's sort of photorealistic style of art, and not just his style of art, but his sort of cinematic composition on the page, and Millar's dialogue. It was just brilliant. It was like reading a film or something. Really good stuff. Then Jeff Loeb took it in another direction. It received quite a lot of criticism. I wasn't a huge fan of it because it didn't feel like the Ultimates, although I suppose in its own right it was okay. And I did like Joe Mads. I'll call him just Joe Mads because I always get his last name wrong. His artwork was brilliant. It was a real treat actually to see him doing comic books again, because I was a real big fan of his when he did Battle Chasers and of course the X-Men. Anyway, let's try and get back to the issue at hand. Hey, no pun intended. Okay, Mark Millar's back and he's getting back to basics, and that's what I'm enjoying about this. I really am. Now, I said this in my last review of issue 2. I would have preferred Brian Hitch to be back, the original team, but actually Carlos Pacello's doing quite a good job. And I've also noticed that he's kind of changed his art style for this. It's less stylized, and I don't want to say he's imitating Brian Hitch, but it is a bit similar. I think it's basically because Carlos Pacello is trying to do, and succeeding to a certain degree, a more of a photorealistic style. Because, as I said, his previous work was a bit more stylized. So, the Ultimate Avengers now has that kind of real world feel again, and also with the composition as well on the page, it has a kind of cinematic kind of feel again, similar to Brian Hitch's, which I'm quite pleased about. And also, the close-ups on the face, kind of close, photorealistic, to a certain degree, not to the extent that Brian Hitch did, but it's still very good. So, as I said with the last review, with issue 1, if you're disappointed if you're an old school sort of Ultimates fan, you're disappointed with Jeff Loeb's interpretation of the Ultimates, it's time to get back on board, and I think this is really good. Now, this is an origin issue of the new Red Skull, who, if you've read out the last issue, is actually Captain America's son. This has received a little bit of criticism, I've read and heard, but I think this is quite good, and it's explained rather well. And Captain America gets his bird pregnant, in between missions, as he would. He's a super soldier after all. And after they think he's dead, they don't want the scandal of Captain America's girlfriend having an illegitimate bastard child. Heaven forbid. That's probably how it would be in those days. Anyway, so he gets raised on military base, but he basically turns out to be a bastard and becomes a Red Skull. So that was a nice origin. It's done quite well, and we also see sort of Captain America leave his group, and he's going to go off and do his own thing and find out about the Red Skull. And there's, you know, some nice little action scenes here and there, but a lot of it is, there's some of it which is quite slow paced, and there's sort of a lot of setting up for what's going to happen next. You know, there's Nick Fury, the Samuel L. Jackson Ultimate version, talking with Carol Danvers and Hawkeye, and sort of the tension between them is quite good, more so between Carol Danvers and Nick Fury, and that's sort of setting things up for later. And that's what Marvel and I used to do in the old Ultimate series. It sort of, the earlier issues were a little bit more slow paced. You'd have little bits of action just to sort of keep you there, but it would sort of be, you know, kind of like a bit of a slow build up and then a big payoff sort of in later issues, and I think that's what's going to happen here. Talking of Hawkeye, it's also nice to have the old Ultimate Hawkeye back, if you get what I mean, because in Jeff Loeb's version he was a bit of a psycho, he was a bit crazy, and also in Ultimatum, which was also written by Jeff Loeb, he seems much more calmer, much more like the character he used to be in the old series, so that's nice to sort of have him back. So there we go. I think it's a really good issue. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to the next one. You know, I hate to say it because Carlos Pacello's doing a good job, but I said this in the last review, it would have been nice to have Brian Hitch back there, you know, the team behind the original Ultimate stuff, but you know, he's still doing a good job. You know, I am enjoying it, so let's see where they take it, and it should be good. Anyway, see you later guys, look after yourselves.